Welcome to The Explainer. You know, sometimes a single joke can be a punchline that's been a whole decade in the making. Today we're diving into a recent one-liner from Arnold Schwarzenegger that, believe it or not, tells a really painful and very expensive story.
Okay, so here it is. This is the joke that got everyone talking, the one Arnold dropped at journalist Chris Wallace's Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony. Now, on the surface, it's a pretty standard roast-style punchline, right? But once you know the backstory, that line about half of my money, well, it just hits different. To really get the weight behind that joke, we've got to go back, way back. The story really kicks off with the incredibly long and frankly complicated divorce between Arnold and journalist Maria Shriver.
Get this, they announced they were separating all the way back in 2011, but the divorce wasn't officially final until 2021. Yeah, that's a 10-year gap, which is basically an eternity in legal terms, and definitely more than enough time for things to get messy.
A full decade. Just let that sink in for a second. 10 years of being in this kind of legal limbo. It totally set the stage for one of the biggest, most talked about financial settlements in Hollywood history. And that 10-year period, that's really the foundation for that whole half my money punchline.
So, the big question is, why? Why did it take 10 whole years? Well, this wasn't just a simple case of, we grew apart. The entire split was triggered by a massive revelation, a secret that had been buried for years.
The catalyst, the thing that blew everything up, was the discovery that Arnold had fathered a child, Joseph, with their family's housekeeper. I mean, this wasn't just an affair. This was a secret that completely shattered the foundation of their family and that public image they built so carefully.
And you can just imagine the immediate, painful impact. This wasn't some distant tabloid story for them. It was a deep, personal crisis. People close to the family said that when Maria Shriver found out, she had a complete emotional breakdown.
But here's where the story takes a really interesting turn. It doesn't just end with all that pain and turmoil. Instead, it pivots from that really difficult past to a surprisingly friendly present, which is honestly what makes Arnold's jokes so fascinating now.
Somehow, after all those years, they actually managed to move past the betrayal. They found a new normal. Not as husband and wife, obviously, but as this united front, really focusing on being a family for their kids. And this isn't just speculation. We saw clear public proof of this truce just a few weeks before the joke. The whole family, Arnold and Maria included, all came together to celebrate their son Patrick's wedding. It was this united front that just speaks volumes about where they are today. So this brings us full circle. It connects that painful, super complicated history and their now friendly relationship right back to Arnold's very public and very interesting sense of humor about the whole thing.
And it turns out that Chris Wallace joke, it wasn't a one-off, not at all. Just a few months before, he was out there joking that Maria still calls him asking for residuals from that old Christmas movie Jingle All the Way. So there's a pattern here, right? Using humor to publicly talk about the financial side of their split.
Ultimately, you realize that this kind of public humor is only possible because of two things. One, the sheer amount of time that's passed, and two, the genuinely cordial, family-first relationship they've somehow managed to build out of the ashes of a huge public scandal.
So this all leaves us with a really fascinating question. When you hear a joke like that, knowing the whole 10-year story behind it, what do you see? Is it a sign of real healing? Proof that they can finally laugh about it all? Or is it just a public jab about a multi-million-dollar divorce that's maybe better left unsaid? It's a punchline that is way more complicated than it looks.